I'm going to show you how to make a works cited page for your Greek gods project. So we're going to go into our Google Drive and start by opening a new document. And there's a specific way that I want you to title this so that it's easy for me to find and reference. So under the document title, you're going to put your god's name and then the words works cited and then your name, first and last. And then we're going to go to Format and go down here to line spacing. And when we line space, we want it to be double spaced. And this sets it for the entire document. And then we need to put your name on it. So when we do a works cited, your name goes in the far right corner. So we're going to use this right alignment key. And you're going to type your last name, space, and the number 1. And the 1 indicates that this is the first page of your works cited. As you get older, the number of sources that you use for a research project will increase, and you could end up with 2 or 3 or 4 pages of references. But for right now, we only have 1. Should you end up going to a second page, then you're going to want to do that where it says page 2 and your last name. Then I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to go over here and center line it. Works cited. Hit enter and then set it back to left alignment. Now you do have a tool in here, and I think there are a couple ways we could probably do this. I'm going to show you the way that I think is the easiest because we did some of the legwork already. If I open up my God's research chart, I already have I should already have 2 of my sources referenced. So I can just copy and paste them over here. Now for right now, you'll notice that the fonts are different. We'll fix all that when we get done at the end. Oh, why isn't this double spacing? That should happen. Go back and fix that. I don't know if it's because I copied and pasted that in there. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to go back to my God's chart and walk you through what you do to cite a source, just in case you haven't done this part yet. So you go to your add-ons, EasyBib, manage your bibliography, and it'll open a new page over here on the right. And you want to make sure that you have bookmarked. And I'm going to use Ken Jennings, mythology, and see what I come up with. And I was using this Junior Genius guide, and it doesn't show me the entire source here, but I'm going to select it and see if it's the right one. If it's not, you can always click X here and it'll X out. So Ken Jennings, Greek mythology, Little Simon. If I had the book sitting right in front of me, I could verify that it was Greek mythology. The publication city is New York, and Little Simon was the publishing company. So I can copy. Didn't want to do that. Control C, and then I'm going to put it over here so that I know that any of this information that came from this source is going to be listed in this column. And as I grade it, that's what I'm going to look for. And then I can go back over here, my works cited, and I can paste that in there as well. Now the last source is going to be the tricky one, and it's going to depend on what type of a source you used. So let's say I just Googled my God against Mrs. Culleton's better judgment. You Googled it anyways. Greek mythology facts. And I found a website, GreekMythology.com. And I went through and I did a CREP form and I found all the information that I needed and verified that this was a good source. If I want to cite this source, I need this URL. I can copy it and go back over here. And instead of a book, I want to click website. I'm going to paste that website in there, and EasyBib will search for the information for me. And I could select this one. It doesn't give me a whole lot of information, but here is how I would cite it. So I'm going to copy it and paste it here. Now the other thing I did ask you to do initially was copy the URL so that when we got to this step on Wednesday, it would be very easy for you to do. So I'm going to do that again. See? But the actual citation of the source is right here. So again, I'm going to copy it and go put it into my Works Cited page. Now, I see that my text is different, so I'm going to highlight all that and change it to, change it to one font type, and I'm going to use Arial. There we go, and it looked like some of it was in bold print. The other thing I could do, and I'm going to show you this just because if this happens to you, I'm going to enlarge the text so you can see what happens to it. When we do a Works Cited page, we call this second part, the second line that goes with a source, a hanging indentation. So I'm going to hit Enter and then Tab, so I know that here's the first source, Enter, Tab, here's my second source, Enter, Tab, and there's my third source. So I can tell how many sources you have by looking at your margin. It's kind of the opposite of indenting a paragraph. We go all the way to the margin. Anything after that first line is the one that gets indented. Okay, and so this is how you're going to be making your Works Cited. Now, when it's time for you to turn it in, you're going to go back to this assignment that says Greek Gods Research Chart, and you have a place down here where you can add a document. You're going to add your Works Cited page to your Google Classroom so that when I go to grade your assignment, I have a picture of, or I have your research chart and your Works Cited all together. Okay, so again, we went over this together in class on Wednesday, but if you need to take some time to review it on your own, or you're at home and you can't remember one of the steps, you can watch the screencast.